took it was weird. I think it happened at 7 minutes 07, or was it it happened 70 to 7 times, or for every 7 times I did something, I was able to do it 70. So it was a 10-to-1 ratio over and over again. And every time I look up, it was 70 to 7 and 70, and then it was 7. And maybe I'll say it a different way. It was 70 to 7. And that was 4 years in a row of something remaining in Tempe. But it escapes me right now.
The Territorial Cup? Is that what you're talking about?
That's what it's called.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. ASU just dismantling that school in Tucson. So those are my 2 highlights. My White Sox making it to the playoffs and Tucson losing 4 years in a row, 70 to 7.
So the White Sox, you choose the White Sox over the Bears?
Well, the Bears. Okay, so we can say what we want about Nagy, and I've said a lot, but they made the playoffs 2 out of 3 years. So for the White Sox not to have been there in so long and get literally all the way down to the bottom where people said, Giolito couldn't even pitch, or, Abreu, yeah, he's good, but maybe the Sox should move on. How long are they going to waste Tim Anderson? For all that to finally come together and to make the playoffs, especially in a COVID year, I think that just meant a lot to the Sox fans.
Yeah, it has been a COVID year, but let's go ahead. We have you unforgettable, and this probably may overlap with with the same response. But what was your most exciting moment of 2020?
70 to 7.
All right, Ed Cole.
I think the Dodgers winning the World Series. With everything that they've been through over the last 8 to 10 years, and so many expectations for the Los Angeles Dodgers to win the NL West year in and year out, and not being able to deliver Los Angeles a world championship, and then finally being able to fight through it with all the COVID issues going on, for them to finally win a world championship for the first time in 32 years. That was the most exciting for me, to see the Dodgers finally break through and get that championship.
What about the Suns going 8-0 in the bubble?
I was just going to say that. Nobody said the 8 is going to say the 8-0 in the bubble for the Suns.
1A. Suns 8-0 in the bubble. 1A.
Yeah, that kind of got the whole city feeling good again. And the Suns have really kicked off this season on the backs of that, with not only what they did in the bubble, but the moves that they've made. And, I know we're talking football, but the other night for that team to be down 31 points and get that back within a possession, and for Devin Booker to say, we just got a bunch of dogs, we don't stop fighting. I mean, this is who we are. That if it wasn't for the bubble and the progress they made, I don't think this team would be in the position that they are now. So the 8-0 Suns in the bubble.
Adding Chris Paul to the Suns too,
Adding Chris Paul, bringing back Frank the Tank. Oh, by the way, Frank the Tank is a White Sox fan. He's from Chicago. Just thought I'd throw that in. And I got
fun fact.
I got receipts on that too. Just thought I'd share with you.
Cool. Awesome fun fact. So I have to ask, who's your favorite or the best athlete of 2020?
Who's the favorite, or who's the best, or for what sport?
Just sports in general, just overall 2020. If you can't, you can pick 2 if you can't just pick the one.
That's another one. Goodness.
Yeah, I think I'd have to go by sport. I couldn't. I would have a hard time just picking one.
Yeah, I'd have to go by sport too. Can we go by sport?
Sure. Let's go off top 3: MLB, NBA, and NFL. Let's do the best. How about that? Instead of favorite, let's do the best.
Oh, well, yeah, that made it easier. In baseball, I think there's 2. Okay. Obviously, there's an MVP flying a banner on for the White Sox. So, but I'm the happiest for Clayton Kershaw because I wanted to see whether they won or lost the World Series, the Dodgers. It didn't matter to me. Being honest with you, What I didn't want was him saddled with he didn't do anything when he had the opportunity. So even if the Dodgers had lost every game that he did not pitch, I wanted Clayton to pitch well in the games that he did pitch. So that way it would not be Clayton Kershaw's fault that they didn't win, because he's been saddled with that reputation for so long. And in all honesty, he's a good dude. And everyone that's interviewed him, talked to him, and interviewing and talking to him myself, he just seems like a good dude. And so I don't want that hanging over his head. So for that reason, I'll say I'm the most happy in baseball for Clayton Kershaw getting that monkey off his back.
NFL?
Patrick Mahomes is an alien. I mean, watching that dude play is just fun, and watching him win the Super Bowl for a team that I have no rooting interest in was just really entertaining. I mean, that run through the playoffs, where in the playoffs they were spotting teams 20 points and then he was just running them down. It was, just basically it was like a big brother saying, you know what, I'll play you to 30 and you get 20 on the ball, and then not let him score again. That's what he did to the AFC. And then with San Francisco, he basically said, you know what, I'm going to fart around here for a little while, and then you go ahead. You guys good now? Okay, we got you. So him, and then in the NBA, just them pulling it off. I think LeBron James really was the MVP last year. I think he got robbed of that award. I don't think it had anything to do with the bubble, because the bubble is two totally separate things. I thought I'm tired of kind of the MVP award for the regular season that doesn't encompass everything. And for what LeBron did in the regular season, I thought he deserved the MVP award over Giannis or Harden or any of those other cats. So I would say he was probably the most dynamic NBA player as the regular season went on.
All right. How about you, Ed?
For baseball, I'd do two guys too. For the Dodgers, Mookie Betts. He came over and completely just changed the culture of that organization. We saw what he was able to do with the Boston Red Sox. He took them to a world title. And his first year with the Dodgers, he takes them to a championship. And he everybody just fell in love with him because he's such a great guy. He's such a lovable guy. But when he's out there on that baseball field, he is ferocious. I mean, the kid can hit, he can throw, he can catch the ball. He can do pretty much anything that a professional athlete is supposed to do. And he's paid that money because he's that guy. So it will be Mookie Betts. And you go down the coast a little bit to Fernando Tatis Jr. for the San Diego Padres. The Padres wouldn't have been where they were without him. I mean, he was clearly their MVP. And Fernando, just like Mookie, just a fun guy to watch play baseball. He brought back joy and excitement to the game of baseball. And he brought fans back to actually want to watch baseball because, obviously it's not the most thrilling game to watch on TV. But when you've got players like a Mookie Betts or a Fernando Tatis Jr. or a Jose Abreu, players like that, it makes you really actually want to sit down and watch baseball. And it also helped that baseball was really good. Their postseason was outstanding. Aside from a few series, it was very well done. So those are my guys for baseball. For basketball, it will be LeBron and Jamal Murray. The run he had in that bubble for the Denver Nuggets was stellar. Paul, those 3 games he had against the Utah Jazz, the 2 50-pointers, and I believe one of them was he had a 49-point game. Those 3 games he had against the Utah Jazz, some of the best basketball I've ever seen a player play, especially in that pressure situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was balling out. Though Denver,
oh my gosh,
him and
the
Jokic
whole team.
Him and Jokic. But just so you guys know, outside of Booker and any player on the Bulls, Jokic is my favorite player in the NBA.
Fun fact.
Oh, it's hey, you tape, Twitter, it's everywhere. He is just flat out impressive.
Yeah, Jokic is no joke. NFL, I would go with Paul, number 15 in Kansas City. You cannot not have Patrick Mahomes as one of your top guys. And I'll go with your guy, Aaron Rodgers. The season he's had, almost a 10-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Aaron, MVP in my book. with Patrick just a close second. But Rodgers and Mahomes are my top two guys in the NFL.
Right.
And they possibly could meet in the Super Bowl, potentially.
Potentially. That would be another matchup for the ages. We'll see. Still have time left to see what happens.
What about you?
Oh, my gosh.
It's a lot to think about, isn't it?
It is. It's not easy. Of course, NFL, do I have to answer that? We talked about it earlier. Do I need to say it?
Yes. It's got to be on the record.
Aaron Rodgers. And I just have to, hands down, of course. No further explanation needed. If you listen to our, show from beginning, Aaron Rodgers, number one.
Do you have a number two?
Number two, oh my gosh.
Watch her say Devontae Adams.
I don't know. Really, I didn't even think that far down the line, to be honest. I'll probably have to give it to another quarterback, Josh Allen. Buffalo Bills, 13-3, and they're just a force to be reckoned with going into the playoffs. So, my thought. For baseball, I have to give it to. Oh, that's two here. It's a 1A and a 1B. It's the tie between Clayton Kershaw for all the reasons that was mentioned earlier. Great guy, just whether Dodgers did win or not, just seeing him and putting it out there, what he's capable to do, and being able to go out there and do what Clayton Kershaw does as a pitcher. He's a great guy, phenomenal person. So having and coming him up top, winning the World Series with the LA Dodgers, it's a top one. Just following next to that is Fernando Tatis Jr. Just a shame that we didn't get to see the caliber of player that he is and being able to see what he's all about. Yes, we got to see it during the season, but this is where, where you can exhibit your potential even more, and what you're all about is in the All-Star game. It's just a shame that we didn't get to see have that in 2020, obvious reasons. We didn't, MLB didn't have that showcase per se, but hopefully he's able to come out in 2021. We can have an All-Star game and he will be able to go ahead and go out there and do what he does. And one of the things I wish that, if it would have been a face of MLB, or if MLB would have done a little bit more promotion to the game, Fernando Tatis Jr. is one of those players to showcase out there and put out there and be one of the faces of MLB. Just like Aaron Judge, Clayton Kershaw, just to name a few that are out there. Fernando Tatis Jr., he's in that caliber. Basketball, I don't know. Probably LeBron James, I have to say. Yeah. No one else comes to mind, just LeBron. So those would be my picks for best athletes of 2020. So one last question for you guys before we wrap up. So if you could replay any moment, any sports moment, whatever, that is, throughout, can be any sport, what would that be?
It would be that bullcrap call Ed Hollins called on Scottie Pippen back in '95 when he blocked that bullcrap by Hubert Davis against the Knicks, and they called that lousy butt foul that sent the Knicks to end up sending the Knicks to the finals in Game 7 later on. I hate that call to this day. I think about it to this day, and that will be the point that I never, ever get over, because that call was crap all the way through. There's no doubt about it. Scottie P did not foul Hubert Davis. If you look at it over and over and over and over, you will get the same result. That was a blown call, and Hugh Hollins and I will forever have beef over that nonsense. That's the one sports moment I would change in a heartbeat. I'd do it again and again and again. And
in 2020?
No, in 1994. Oh, in 2020. Oh, well, you didn't. I thought you
were passionate about that one. I'll give you that. But what's your 2020 moment you would replay?
with COVID, there really wasn't any one thing. You know what I mean? Because